All right, welcome everyone. This is Anna Runyon from Classy Career Girl, and I am very excited today. I have another one of our certified career coaches to introduce you to. So give a big welcome to Lori Lawrence. Welcome, Lori.
Hey Anna, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I am
Thank you.
excited for you. Congrats on your graduation. We are going to hear more about you and your journey to become a career coach today. So tell me more, about you, about kind of where you were at the beginning of this journey to become a career coach. Where were you before you started this process?
Awesome. Yes, no, I would love to kind of share a little bit about my journey. And I don't mean to trigger anyone, but I do have to, kind of to let everybody know that there's a lot of times there's purpose that comes from tragedy. And so for me specifically, I had a very successful, very long corporate career. I had been in enterprise sales specific to healthcare technologies. And even through the pandemic, ebbed and flowed and, managed to, bounce back from some layoffs that I had been a part of myself. And so I experienced a series of events that happened in the late 2023. So I was going along, my career was cooking. I get a call one day from my brother, and he tells me that he has now, after 19 years, just been laid off from his longstanding career at a very large corporation in which he was a solutions architect. He's a little bit of an introvert, and he wasn't really sure what to do, how to get started. So, of course, I jumped right in, being big sister, helped him with his resume, he wasn't even on LinkedIn, got him on LinkedIn, created his whole brand for him. And then he went through a series of interviews that used technology that was a little out of his wheelhouse. Again, when you spend 19 years in a job, in a role being very successful, you put your head down and you work hard, and you don't look up to see kind of where's all of this been going. And so that's what happened with him. And he experienced some rejections. And he was already in a really dark place that the family was not aware of. And so, unfortunately, in October of 2023, because of the layoff and because of this was someone that really defined who he was with his position and his job, he made the decision to take his life. And then 2 months after that, I lost my job that I was at through an acquisition and a layoff. So here I was at the very beginning of 2024 with a personal family tragedy. I was without a career at that point, without a position. And I really stepped back, and the universe guided me to a place in which, number one, I never wanted anyone like my brother to feel he didn't have clear direction. He didn't have an accountability partner. I never wanted anyone to go through that. I realized very quickly how tough the market was. I hadn't been in the market for a little while. And so I was realizing, wow, this isn't just as simple, Anna, as just here's my resume. I'm very qualified. I have tons of experience. When do I start? It was not that was not that direction. It was not that way. Because right now we have so many very qualified candidates at a very high level of professional level with not the same number of open positions. Companies have gone much leaner. And so now we have a very competitive market. So that's when I made the decision to jump in with you, understand more about what it is to become a career coach and become certified and be able to offer my services. And I have a very, very tight niche, a very tight niche, which is working with those mid to later stage professionals who are really kind of going through this brutal job market and not really sure how to maneuver in it successfully in order to get into their new position or even start their own business, depending on kind of what direction they want to go in. So that's a little bit about my journey.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that too. And you can really see every time I talk with you, I see your purpose and I see your calling. And I think we hear so many people who are scared to start their businesses and scared to put themselves out there. And I always tell them, you have to remember your client needs you. They're out there waiting for you right now. And so every day you show up, I feel that from you. You're like, there are people out there that need me right now. And you show up with that purpose and you bring it into your
Yep.
coaching as well too. And I love that about you because it reminds me also, that there's just people out there. We gotta
Yep.
get out there and and help them. So thank you for always sharing that story and bringing it back to the reason we do what we do as well too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's necessary. Again, I think about that every day when I get up and being a solopreneur because I am doing this by myself. I am my CEO and it was really interesting. It was some part in our course that I just woke up one day and I said, I'm the CEO. I give myself direction. I know that I'm the only one that I can be held accountable to. And it's very enlightening when you move from a corporate direction into a solopreneur direction specific to career coaching. And it's one of the things every day because my platform is LinkedIn. That is where my ideal clients exist. That is where my professionals live, is on that platform. And so for me, reading their stories, I knew that I needed to now get them to hear me and find me and speak with me and let me talk with them and help them the best way that I can. I'm in business, but at the same time, I think it's part of my purpose. I also do a little pro bono work for some. Even if I can see it's just they need a little bit of tweaking. And then, I definitely, have different ways that folks can work with me at different levels. So that again, I don't ever want to leave anyone out if they feel they need some assistance, and a partner. And it really is truly a partner because for the folks that I work with that have been, in a career search for several months, when before it was like, golly, when I was looking 5 years ago, it took me a week, and now it's taking me months. The isolation, and the kind of the confidence begins to start waning. And I hear all the time, what's wrong with me? Why can't I find a job? And there's nothing wrong. They just have to understand in a competitive market, you have to be able to tell your story and create your own brand in a very different way than ever before. And so, again, I feel that it is extremely important for all of the career coaches, irregardless of your niche and who you are serving, because this is a servant business. There are people that need all of us. And so, again, I show up every day because I know there's someone out there that needs me, and I want to be able to provide for them.
Yeah, you see me over here. I'm just like nodding right along with you as well too, because not everyone can, maybe purchase your programs, but there's so much free content. That's why we market. That's why we do our lives and our videos. So there is content to be able to help people as well
Absolutely.
too at that free price point as well too. The pay nothing. Go back to all my podcasts, my videos, like they're out there for anyone who needs it as well too. So I love that you brought that up because everyone's always scared to market and to sell, and to do the videos. So hopefully we're reminding them, bring it back to the serving because that's the most important part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love it. And I had to overcome my fear because I had been on LinkedIn for so long as a different professional showing up there with all of my contacts, if you will. And it's a different type of social media platform than the others. Every platform has its purpose. But for me, I was very frightened just to begin to post and make those announcements. And then again, I kept reminding myself, nope, someone needs me. And when I began to show up and when I told my story and I just launched my newsletter on LinkedIn, and the response has been it's really been overwhelming for me to realize that not just hundreds but thousands of people really need to hear my tips and my pointers and understand that I get them. And so I'm happy to be able to provide that kind of content and market. And it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I know that you introduced me for the very first time, didn't even know it existed. That's how I was out of it being in the corporate situation, Canva, and I learned Canva, and
Mm.
I've had so much fun. And that aspect of my business, creating content for my folks or for others.
Yeah.
And so just showing up every day, even for myself, it's been a lot. It has been a lot of fun. It's really created a lot of growth for me as well, and just overcoming some of the fears that I have. Next for me will be video, so I'm
Yeah.
slowly moving into that. And so yeah, so it's been a wonderful journey, and I love it every single day, and I thank you very much for putting it all out there so I could find you because again, there is a lot of chatter. There's a lot of things that are out there, and you kind of have to weed through it as a for me as a professional of what it is that you need so that you can be the best that you can be for others. And you do have, for me, I needed to get training. I needed to get just knowledge, understanding, some frameworks, some infrastructure built, which I knew nothing about. And so that is what you brought to me as well.
Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned the Canva. For those that don't know, that's kind of the tech part. And everyone's always scared of the tech of and
Yeah.
creating their designs and everything. So I'm glad you brought that up. It can be figured out for sure
Oh,
too and conquered.
yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, and for me, coming from, I was in sales, I was in executive sales or enterprise sales. And so I had a marketing department and I had lead generation. So I didn't know anything about that. And so now this has really been able to provide me the ability to grow in some areas that I was not stale in. Didn't know anything about in understanding digital marketing, social media mastery, and then creating, creating various different, posts. And I didn't know any of all that. I didn't know that and understand, lead generation and emailing correctly. Again, it's been a wonderful journey that I'm learning every day more and more. And I'm not afraid to try things. That's the thing is like somebody once said, imperfect action is better than just standing still and no action. And so I've learned just to be imperfect and take action. And it's amazing what happens and what you can learn from that as well.
So how did you find out about Classy Career Girl? Where was it that you found us?
I want to say Facebook. And I think I watched several of your videos that you had done, and then I began to start tuning in. Then I found you had talked about your podcast, and I found your podcast and listened to that, and I really realized okay, I think that I know I've done mentoring in my positions at work before. I've done coaching. I was a manager, but I was like, I'm thinking this is a little different. And then knowing it's a part of a business, you talked about some of your frameworks and some of, what you bring to career coaches. And that's when I decided to jump in because I knew that you could provide everything, like everything that you need to be able to then to build out a business from the very beginning. I mean, very, very quickly, you can start coaching, even if it's just coaching your acquaintances or former colleagues. That is when I just said, okay, I'm going to jump in and do that. That was my comfortable piece. It was the business part that was, okay, what email do I need to be writing? That is what I very quickly jumped into the modules and then connecting with other coaches too within the program, within the
Yeah, and
community.
you did this fairly fast too. Everyone always asks how long does it take? And you said you had this moment a year ago, so that was at the beginning of 2024 of the I'm going to jump in, and we're
Yep.
recording this at the beginning of 2025. So that really, I mean, you have made
Yep.
a lot of progress, a lot of learning new things, new
Yep.
selling, new leads, new digital marketing, all in this last year. So it can be
Yep.
done. It can be done.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing I learned. I kept it quiet. I was like working in stealth mode. So when I joined you, I want to say I joined March or April of last year. Okay.
Mhm.
And I kept quiet. I just didn't tell anyone. I mean, the only person that knew was like my husband and then my immediate family. And then I realized I need to start telling people I'm a career coach, and this is who I work with. And it's really funny, Anna, because I went through several months. I mean, probably September-ish, August, September, when I had gotten a lot of learning, but I still was silent about what I was doing. And I finally started just announcing myself. I'm a career coach. I made an announcement on all social media coming soon because I was putting some different things in places. And then I started telling my colleagues, my former colleagues and business associates, oh, I'm transitioning. I'm going through a career transition. The minute I started talking about it is when opportunities started coming to me. And so I got an opportunity. I was invited because, again, I just started telling people who told people who told people.
Mhm.
And I was invited to the Indeed Job Academy. It was one of their boot camp talks, their webinars in November of last year. And I was a part of a panel discussing success and satisfaction in the later stages of your career. So I was the representative kind of career coach from the outside. There were several other folks on the panel, an internal, and then another gentleman that has actually a job board for aging for what we call ageless workers, and it was very interesting. That absolutely exploded my business, so that November I was full on in. I was booked. My Calendly was solid. I was doing call after call after call. I collected my, I signed my first clients and began working with them. And it's like, well, I figured it out as I went along. I mean, I'm smart enough. I've been in situations like this before. I looked at it as a project and I used all of the information, the forms, the playbooks, and everything to create those for my clients. So that made it a really easy transition just to step into a business and have a phenomenal first month in December. So soft
Yeah.
launch in November, hard launch in December, and now I'm full in it
Mhm.
beginning in 2024.
Love that. And I think too, because we could have our individual coaching sessions, we could personalize them too to like the things that you were working on right then and there too. And
Oh,
then your
absolutely.
presentation that you were putting together and everything. It was so fun to see it all
Yes.
come together so quickly for
Yes.
you as well too.
Yes, it has been a wonderful experience, and it's ebbing and flowing. And I wake up every day thinking about what can I do more for my clients? How can I do better for myself? And again, it changes your entire mindset and your framework about your life and how you show up, even for your family, how you show up for your friends, your my daughters who are in their 30s in their own careers, and their friends that, I look at my kid, they're like my kids too as well. It really creates, for me, it's really brought back so much enthusiasm in life, because I'm not ready to retire. I work with a lot of folks that are actually retired that have come back out to as an encore. They kind of take a couple of years off and they're like, oh, okay, now what? And so that's what's really been fun. And then also those folks that have been out of work for a while, well, maybe I can do something on my own. Maybe I can start my own business. And you have given us all of those various different platforms to be able to speak to as a coach and guide them and empower these folks as they begin to explore their own journeys. So again, it's a very powerful profession. Never really thought much about it. I had done life coaching, oh, way back when, and now this is really this has been very exciting for me, and I hope exciting for others as well.
Yeah. I love that because you have the knowledge and the different specializations that we offer as well too. So when they do come to, and a lot of people don't realize that they want to be an entrepreneur, and then they watch you, and then they see you doing this, and they get
Exactly.
inspired as well too, and then they start asking, "How do I do a business plan?" And you're ready because you have that part of certification down too. So what do
Exactly.
you think would have
Exactly.
happened if you didn't join certification? Like where do you think you would be right
Oh.
now?
Well, and it's funny, before I found you, I was kind of throwing money, not much of it, but just a little bit here and there just to kind of dabble to see what was out there. And I realized very quickly, just like the old saying goes, you get exactly what you pay for. And so I'm not sure. I really don't know at this point because I know that before I found you, I just didn't have anything that was structured and put together. I had little bits and pieces, but I was still very lost on, how do I really create a coaching business? How do I market myself? Where do I market? Where do I find the ability to speak to? A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I could never speak in front of people. I don't mind speaking in front of hundreds. The video thing is kind of that's where I'm learning. Again, you always continue to kind of overcome those things that are a little bit uncomfortable because that's what I teach my clients. You have to kind of get out of your comfort zone in order to be able to grow grow and succeed. I'm not sure where I would be, Anna. Probably just wasting a lot of time and money with different pieces, whereas I knew you had a very comprehensive, very long program that was long, but along the way, you were able to do stuff like coach
Mhm.
and begin to start collecting clients even before you finished the program and before I even graduated, I was well on my way. So it just really gives you a good place to start, understand, define your niche, understand who you want to serve, and then really build out that business for yourself.
I love that. Yes, because that's my goal is that you make back your investment with clients that you get by learning what you learn in the program and taking
Absolutely.
action. So by the time you graduate, you're good. You're ready. And now also, I mean, there's the advanced training after you graduate as well too. So because you're at a different level now after what you've been through in certification. And so a lot of those alumni, training videos are a little advanced for you, and that will be helpful for you too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it
Awesome.
has been wonderful. So yeah, I appreciate everything that you do because again, you pretty much give a little bit of everything, which again, as an independent business owner, you need to have you again, you don't know what you don't know until you get into the program and you go, "Oh, I didn't realize I needed that." And then that again is very helpful because you have the ability because you yourself had been a career coach, so you knew all of the nuances and the pieces. Again, irregardless of what type of career coaching you are doing, you still need these bits and pieces. So yeah,
Definitely.
I really appreciate that.
I have to ask because you had a sales background. So I want to know, what did you learn about selling that was like different
Oh,
when you went into career coaching? Because you've had such a great sales background. I'm just curious myself, what was the light bulb for now selling on your own?
so I was in business to business, so B2B sales. Business to business sales is very different than business to consumer sales. So for me, I had to learn really to uncover more of the pain and really structure my because when I used to talk to CEOs, when I would be in a hospital system and I had, whomever was going to be the decision makers, and it was never one person, it was multiple people making the decision about the solution that I was providing and selling for them, it was a different conversation with an individual that is probably already constrained financially. You really have to begin to uncover, okay, so if you don't do this, what then is going to happen in 6 months if you are continuing down the same path? Or if you do decide, so it just really
Mhm.
becomes a softer, more relevant, more human conversation than a business conversation. So
I
that for
love
me
that.
is something I've had to learn and I'm still learning because I can very quickly, after 30 years, go right back into the old, and it's like, nope, that doesn't work. So again, I've had to practice. I've had to unlearn and relearn. And so that is something for you brought to the table immediately was a selling conversation, which at first I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But then when I actually put it in place, I went, oh no, this does make sense. This is exactly whom I'm speaking with and who I'm speaking to, and really uncovering the pain and uncovering if you don't do, then what
Yeah.
kind of a decision. So yes.
And I'm sure in all of those calls you bring in your purpose as well too. Because like it's like you're selling, but you also know that that person on the other side, like they need change, It's like I that's how I treat sales calls too. It's like it's almost so like you just want to help them as well too. So I'm sure there's more of that, in it when you're doing it one-on-one too, for me at least.
Exactly. Exactly. I just want to help.
Yeah.
And I can immediately see kind of based on what they're telling me where I can guide them and help them. And that's all I want to do is be able to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where can people find out more about you and work with you, Lori?
So I am, again, the founder and CEO of Next Chapter Career Coaching. I have a website, nextchaptercareercoaching.com. And I am Lori Lawrence, comma, CPCC, Certified Professional Career Coach, on LinkedIn. So you can find me very active on LinkedIn. I am on Facebook and Instagram both, but those are not necessary. Those are personal pages, but you can certainly find me there and reach out to me and either direct message me or schedule time via my website.
Definitely. And in case you can't find her in all those great places, she's also on our career coach directory at classycareergirl.com/directory. And you can find her link to book a call there as well. So, Lori, what would be your final words of wisdom for someone who a year ago is in that spot of just like, I really want to do this career coaching thing, but I'm not sure how or what step to take? Like, what would you tell that person a year ago? You a year
So
ago?
I will tell you what I've been telling. So some of the folks that I joined with you, and we're a part of a community, your Classy Career Girl community. Take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all your processes set up. You don't have to have, you just have to have you and your wisdom and your knowledge, and your want. You have to take action because I see more and more folks, and again, I understand because I was there, but the minute you take action is when you learn. If you sit and kind of just continue, well, I'm not sure if I like my niche. I don't know if I like my elevator pitch. I'm not ready to post yet. The minute you take action is when you learn and you can make those slight adjustments. But the one thing I will tell any and all coaches that are entering in the program or have been in the program that are even graduated from the program, take action. A little action will go a long way, and then you can take more action because that is what then will lead to revenue, money, and then you're in business. You're in business. The first time you actually have an invoice that is paid, you are
Yeah.
now in business and you are helping people and you're able to help people and guide people in their direction with their goals.
Yeah, you get so much clarity from taking action. You learn what doesn't work and what does
Yep,
work and who you like to work with and who you don't like to work with. So I echo that. Take action.
yep,
Do something. Help one person. That's
exactly.
where it
Just
starts.
start slow and just help one person. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for joining me, Lori, and sharing your story. I know it's incredible of this year that you've had. So thanks for sharing all your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to hear what's next for you and what this year holds for you as a career coach.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Bye.